let's talk about the game, guys. So, round three, I played against international master Lilit Mkrtchian. I have a hard time pronouncing this because I believe it is six consonants in at once. But she's international master from Armenia. I know her pretty well. We've met plenty of times. It's always nice meeting the Armenians because they see my surname and they're like, "Hey, you're Armenian," and they start speaking Armenian to me, and then I have to disappoint them. I don't speak Armenian. But anyways, she's a really really nice person, and yeah, it was really really awesome playing against her. Let's have a look how the game developed. I was playing with the white pieces, so in my prep, I wasn't sure what I was going to play because on every single move, she has five different moves. I was kind of hoping that after e4, she wouldn't play the Caracan, and she did. So she has, in the database, she has e6, c5, c6. Let me try to draw arrows. I'm professional at this. c6. She has d6 as well. She has e5 as well. Okay, I can't draw arrows. She has all those moves. And then after those moves, she also has, like a few more moves. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. I'll just stick to what I know and play e4 and we'll see what happens. I tried to look up some lines, and for every single line, I had something in mind. But yeah, so basically after c6, I will tell what happened as we go through the moves. d4, d5. I mean, this was what I considered in my prep. After takes, bishop d3, and yeah, I wanted to take it kind of solid with this position, which is contradicting with what I was initially hoping and going for. But yeah, somehow, I mean, I just dislike the Caracan. What can I say? I really don't like it. You have this main line, and that feels so boring, and I don't know. I don't like it. I really should look up a different line against the Caracan because I hate every single line out there. Knight of 6. So she had in the database knight of 6 and knight c6. Both are, pretty similar, I feel like. h3 is one of the main moves. But I didn't like the position after h3. I saw that she had the game with knight c6, and then she got e5, and then the lines that were being suggested were that I basically give up my light squared bishop for the knight, and I was like I saw this game where she played h3, knight c6, c3, and then something like e5 happened, and I really didn't like this position. The top entry move, queen e2, queen e7, and it's basically suggesting like, yeah, just let them take on d3, and I'm like, I mean, okay, it's because we want to have trades because we're facing an isolated queen's pawn, but still, I mean, I didn't really like this. I saw a game of her and I was like, no, we're not going there. So I played the move c3. She played bishop g4, which was surprising to me. I thought she was going to play knight c6 first or something. So bishop g4, okay. I went queen b3, queen c7. I was already out of book here pretty much because I remember that she was playing, I don't remember the exact move order, but I remember she was playing some line with queen c8, knight c6, e6, and I was happy with that position because I thought the queen on state looks weird. I mean, I think it's theory, but to my knowledge, from what I can tell, I thought, I'll be fine there. I kind of know what to do, I guess. But she played queen c7. And here I was like, okay, knight e2, I guess, because I want to put my knight on f3 to go to e5 sooner or later. But with this bishop on g4 right here, I'm not so sure about it. So yeah, I went to e2 because I wanted to play bishop f4 at some point. Because, well, now the queen is here, so might as well go for that. Knight c6, bishop f4, queen d7. I played h3, bishop h5, and here knight d2, simply developing e6, short castle, bishop d6, bishop takes, queen takes, and after knight g3, yeah, I was basically thinking, what do I do here? Because I had a hard time trying to figure out a plan. Obviously, I knew that after knight g3, she was going to play bishop g6, or maybe something else to save the b7 pawn. So yeah, basically, after bishop d6, so yeah, she is offering me this pawn. Now, I spent a gazillion amount of time calculating, should I take yes or no? Now, in this position, I thought it was a terrible idea because takes rook b8, queen a6. And what I hated is that she can play rook b6. She doesn't take here. She'll play rook b6. And after check, knight d8. And where does my queen go? I don't want to go to c5 ever because takes... oh, that's terrible. Okay, I'll just make the moves. Takes, rook takes b2. And I'll just lose those pawns sooner or later. My opponent's pawn structure is amazing. Mine is horrendous. So I think it's easy to draw a conclusion there. I was still trying to find something there, that something might be good there, but rook b6 simply stops all my ideas and it looks disgusting. Yeah, so here I didn't like it. That's why I played knight g3. Let's include knight g3 and see what she does. So she played bishop g6, and here I spent quite some time because I didn't like taking on g6, allowing her the open h-file. It looks really scary with the idea that after takes, she can push this pawn all the way to g4, open up the h-file even more, and she will just start attacking on the king side, and she will safely play long castle if needed. And yeah, and just says equal, but to me that's just lost, you know? Even here, I was calculating queen takes b7, but the reason, once again, why I didn't play this rook b8, queen a6, like, you're just fine defending this bishop. I mean, after bishop takes d3, I was obviously gonna take here, and yeah, this is simply winning. You win the exchange, and I mean, if they push the king up, then you take another rook. If they play knight d8, you just move the rook, and you're happy and fine. Okay, maybe this is not the best move. Apparently just taking is best move, which makes sense because you'll have 3 pawns over here that are ready. Okay, 2 pawns that are ready to push. So, yeah, rook b8, and after queen a6, rook b6 once again. And the problem is not that you're going to lose this bishop. You're not, because you have queen c8. But after knight d8, once again, this queen is trapped. I mean, trapped, once again, there's queen c5, but... it's horrendous. Okay, maybe not here. Just first trade the bishops off the board. But after queen c5, you ruin your pawn structure, and that's not going to end well. So, yeah, that's why I took, eventually, on g6. I even considered bishop b5 maybe to trade this knight, rather than trading bishops. But the problem is that this light-squared bishop becomes so strong. It will hop to d3, knight e4 will come, bishop c4, I mean... maybe one day. The position just looks really, really terrible after bishop b5 and trading the bishop for the knight. So I really didn't like that. And that's why I decided to take in the end. But yeah, I didn't really like my chances here. I mean, I considered the move. So I played f4 myself. I considered the move knight f3. But the problem is that, yeah, sooner or later there will be g5 on my roof. And yeah, the idea is simply g5, g4 with queen f4 as well. And I just have no play. She'll play long castle, and I don't know, but I don't see how to attack. Best I can see is something like c4, but then you're saying goodbye to your pawn pretty much on d4. So I don't see how I can actually play here. And her idea is simply queen f4, g5, g4, and it looks terrible. Like, I'm very passive, and she can just improve her position move by move. So, yeah, this is why I went for the move f4. The thing is that, I mean, I am weakening the square e4. I'm very well aware of this. However, I thought I had big chances somehow with the square e5 and g5, and I felt the need to stop this g-pawn altogether. I felt the need to do that. And I thought I was fine. I mean, rook h4 seems scary, but I thought, you know, just in case I have knight e2, knight f3 will follow. And yes, I'm allowing knight e4, but what is the knight actually doing there? You know, as long as I can hold the position and, you know, not open it up much more, then I should be fine with knight on e4. Like, it's not doing much there. It's just standing there. That's it. So, I thought it was going to be fine. I also thought after g5 I would be fine. But what I initially missed is what happened in the game. And when the position was on the board, I mean, when she played g5, I started calculating and I realized there is a certain move that I initially missed, but now I see it and she's gonna play it. So, yeah, she played g5. She didn't go for long castle, which is a bit surprising. But I think I mean, all this time I was calculating, can I take yes or no? Can I take yes or no? Obviously, here it's really bad, really, really bad. But yeah, the reason why I didn't take here before f4 is that rook b8, queen. I mean, it's the same story pretty much. Okay, here Engine is happy with taking right away, apparently. Which I guess makes sense because, yeah, if anything, you'll go short castle. And the reason why I didn't want to take on b7 ever was, look at my pawn structure. This pawn on c3 is the backwards pawn, I believe that's how it's called. And the problem is that you'll always have problems with that pawn. If you push c4, if you manage to push c4, you'll lose the pawn d4 pretty much. That pawn is alone and very, very weak. So my pawn structure is really terrible, and I thought I'm never going to have any good chances over here. I don't really have play. So yeah, that's why I played f4, and after g5, I obviously took. And here, the beautiful move that she played, the move rook takes h3. A brilliant move. It's really, really nice, and it works tactically. It made me a bit sad, obviously, that it's there, because I was calculating, okay, if queen takes here, I might just take on b7, and I'm attacking 3 pieces, and 2 of them I can capture with check. So surely I must be fine here, because the only way, I see the top move saying knight d8, then I'll take this rook, and you save the 2 knights, but I'm exchange up, and there's very little attack here. Apparently rook takes h3 is giving zeros, which is insane to me. Wow. Okay, that's pretty wild. That is really wild. What happened? Okay, after rook f3, I'll probably get mated or something. King f1, queen h1. Oh yeah, then I lose g2 because there's knight g4. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so in any case, that's what I initially calculated, and then she played the move rook takes h3. That's what I saw when she played g5, and I started calculating takes, and I thought, aha, rook takes h3 is on the board. Yeah. And I take on f6, she takes with the rook, because if queen takes g3, then same idea, I take on b7, and she has, it's just a fork, she just loses a piece there, so that's why rook takes g3 is the best move. And apparently here, the top move, so I played the move rook f3 because I thought I need to get rid of this guy. This guy is disturbing me so much. So the problem is if I take here, f takes g7, then rook takes g7, and it's defending this pawn on f7, which is really annoying because after queen takes b7, I want to attack here, but it's defended, so I have to leave, and yeah. Then we have, again, not a great position. There's too much activity for black here. Despite the fact that the king is in the center, which is crazy. But apparently queen takes b7 is a bit more accurate. I'm still worse, but it seems like I have some chances here. So queen a6. So, yeah, I guess... This is so complicated. So what happens after rook b6? Then queen c, and this is suddenly better for me. Engine is confused. It's giving zeros now. If Engine gives zeros, you know it's tricky. It's really tricky. I guess, the king stays in the center, but I guess black has long-term advantage, pretty much. So apparently I'm able to defend here, and then after takes, we have this position, and I guess I can still hold this, but I don't like it. I played rook f3, and she went for long castle, which actually surprised me a little bit because I thought she would actually take, and just grab the pawn, because it's free. And after queen takes b7, there's rook b8 once again. It's the same line over and over again. And she can just take here, and yeah, this looks quite terrifying. Obviously, the knight is then hanging, but I think, yeah. In a few moves, I think it'll be clear who's winning. I think it'll be very, very clear because I have no play. My rook is just dead on a1. I can move it around, but not a lot. This rook on b2 is a monster. This queen on a6 is not doing anything. Yeah, that's horrendous. Anyways, so my opponent went for long castle, which made me a bit happy initially because I can trade and play knight f1, and maybe I can hold on to this position, but obviously I'm still lost because look at my king. Bear king with a 1 pawn and a 1 knight on f1, holding down the forts. Yeah, it's not very solid. But rook d1, rook h8, rook d3, rook h4. Yeah, she's simply improving her position and setting up some threats. Rook g3, queen h7. I mean, I had no clue what to do here. I'm just moving my pieces around and praying. Knight e3. And here I was a bit sad there's a move f5. And here I knew, like, okay, I mean, I have to go back. But if I go back, f4, and what do I do? Rook h1 is the next move. Queen b1 is following, and I think I'm just lost here. So I thought, okay, let's try something with knight takes d5. That's what I played. E takes d5, queen takes d5, f4. Yeah, obviously I saw all of this coming. And what I actually should have played... Oh my god, this would have... So, yeah, I had no time over here. So I played queen e6. And after king c7, I was calculating the following. Rook g6 to stop the queen from, you know, moving to b1 whatsoever. And I thought I had some great chances here because queen d6 check is in the air. And maybe I can, you know, create some repetition, some perpetual maybe. But then I realized there's rook h1, king f2, queen h4, king moves. If once I get to the e file, there's rook e1. And I have to go there at some point. So then I was like, I'm just losing my queen. Dang it! So I was so sad I played queen e6. I really regretted it. But apparently queen g8 is a really interesting move because I'm trading the queens. And it's not so clear how winning this is. Is this winning for black? So g3, I just trade those pawns. How is this endgame? I mean, it must be winning, but seeing the engine giving it minus 1.2, it gives me some hope. It gives me some hope. I don't know if I should be really, you know, relying on this evaluation, as in maybe it could be a draw, but I don't know how to evaluate this. Yeah, I was very low on time. I spent too much time trying to figure things out. It's so sad. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, maybe I could just bring the king over, right? Surely I'm able to play g3 at some point when the king is actually here, but yeah. I mean, I think it's still lost. It's really hard to trade off those two pawns. And I'm not sure what my two pawns are able to do, the two extra pawns against the knight. But yeah, this is really interesting. I considered trading queens, but I didn't think that this was going to be so hopeful, you know? I thought it was just dead loss or something. Like, this knight can jump around anywhere, and I'll just face this knight. If rook g8 check, the king goes up to c7, and I have no more checks. It's so sad. Like, it looks like I have some huge potential here, but there's no check. This knight is covering all the squares. The knight is covering a5, e5, d8, and okay, e7 as well, but there is no piece that can go there from white. So yeah, it's so sad. But yeah, queen g8 was such a good opportunity. I mean, at least you're trying something, right? Like, it's so hopeless. That's a bit sad. And here I played rook g4 and I was like, oh, get me out of here. I was hoping maybe rook h3. I mean, after I played rook g4, I was like, why did I not play this? Why did I not consider this? Because if trade, this should be a draw, right? I mean, I have a passed pawn. I'm trying to get this pawn. Surely I must be able to save this. So yeah, in any case, I played rook g4, queen b1 check, king f2, queen takes b2, and she's just capturing all my pawns with check. Now the king g1, queen c1, king f2, queen e3, and that is GG. Because I am forced to trade queens after f takes e3. It's a check. My rook is hanging. If I try to defend it, trades is going to happen. Take, and then e2. And I can't stop the promotion. So yeah, the game ended after queen e3. I thought it's time to resign. It's time to resign. So yeah, it's not the worst. I mean, she's much stronger than me. She's also very, very experienced. So yeah, there's a lot to learn from this game, and I will learn from it. But yeah, we go again tomorrow. We go again tomorrow in round 4. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow.